Huckabee from the Fox News studios in New York City. Well, she has been called a rock star executive for her ability to rescue companies and save people's jobs. But she says the government is making it impossible for you to make any money. I'm sure you'll believe that. You're going to meet Lynn Tilton tonight.
Well, the fact is, the Recovery Act is working.
Well, while the government claims to be creating jobs, unemployment remains high. My first guest is helping people keep their jobs by investing in companies that are about to go under and making them profitable again. She worked hard as a young single mother to raise kids and make ends meet, and today she's a self-made billionaire. That's right, billionaire. Please welcome Lynn Tilton. Lynn, welcome. It's good to have you here.
It's an honor to be here.
Two things I've decided. Number one, you have created more jobs than the government, and two, you have more money than they do.
I have less debt, that's for sure.
You certainly have less debt. Let's talk about how you ended up where you are today, CEO, only female CEO of one of the largest private equity firms in the world, but a self-made billionaire. Didn't start like that, did it?
No. I was a single mother at the age of 23, working 100 hours a week at an investment bank with a young child at home. So those were dark days, but survival was the noblest of my causes, and truly what doesn't break us does make us stronger. And I think that the struggle of those years really made me strong enough to withstand 74 companies, 120,000 employees, and a lot of people shooting at me each day.
What was going on inside of you during those early formative, and you call them dark years, those years when it didn't look like you were going to be a billionaire, but you were just hoping to be able to take care of your daughter? What were the lessons that were deep inside of you that you learned?
I think, I had a great childhood, and I was raised with great values. And so I think for me it was, I was taking care of my child in a way that I had been taken care of, providing love and confidence and protection, and just trying to keep putting food on the table. And so, yes, I was aspiring, to excel, but most of all it was just having a child young made me a much less selfish person. I didn't have time to worry about me, but just about taking care of my child, at least half as well as my parents took care of me.
Now, by the age of 40, you had amassed over $10 million. Thought about retiring. I mean, a lot of people would say, hey, that's pretty doggone good, but you didn't retire. Why not?
Well, it certainly did not have to do with money, because frankly, I had saved that money and was waiting for my graduate from high school. And I really wanted to be an island girl. I always say my destiny was to change the world, but my dream was to be an island girl. And frankly, I just got a calling.
The way, which island?
I like Southeast Asia.
Okay.
I like it all the way over there. But
I figured, if you're a billionaire, you could figure whichever island you want. I want to know, where would a billionaire go if they had a chance?
See, the one thing is I don't live like a billionaire. I work 18 to 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. So
wait a minute. Hold it. You say you don't live like a billionaire. You work that hard. I thought a lot of billionaires work that hard. That's how they get to be billionaires.
Yeah, but I'm still doing it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right.
I'm still doing it every day. And frankly, the only reason that we talk at all about money in my world, or what I've accomplished, is it's a reflection of my success, because it's really not who I am. But how do you argue with someone trying to make the world a better place who's making money too, right? You can prove that it's mutually exclusive concept. You can make money and make the world a better place every day on the same journey. And so when we talk about the money I make, I hope it's just a reflection of that success and not who I am, because I'm trying to walk touching people's lives. I mean, I won't be remembered for how much money I made, but I hope I'll be remembered for how many families were better because we kept them employed by buying the companies that would otherwise have been liquidated.
When we come back from the break, I want to talk about that very thing. How do you keep people employed? Is what the government is doing now for recovery really working? And we're going to find out what the government maybe should be doing, and how is Lynn making it possible for families to stay employed? That's what you're going to find out when we come back. Stay with us.
We're not trying to push financial reform because we begrudge success that's fairly earned. I mean, I do think at a certain point you've made enough money But, you know, that part of the American way is, you know, you can just keep on making it if you're providing a good product, you're providing good service.
Well, you remember that statement by President Obama? He said at some point, you've made enough money. Lynn, is the president right? I mean, is there a point at which a person should be told by the government, you've made enough money, that's all you should make, you can't make any more?
Yeah, I don't think that's his place. I mean, I take umbrage to that. And I also think that you have to separate from how people make money. And I think that was said to the investment bankers of the world, but frankly, you know, there are people who are game changers, you know, the Bill Gates of the world, Steve Jobs of the world, who create technology and change the way we live. And how do you tell those people that they can't make money off of their incredible inventions? Or there are people who make it with, you know, use their own money. I mean, I put my money behind everybody else's money, and the big dollar amounts you're talking about, most of it's in my business behind everybody else. There's a difference than when you're playing with the $11 trillion that the country put behind big banks and big investment banks to save them during this downturn, and then paid very large bonuses from that. So just blanket statements, you know, cover people that don't deserve to be buried under them.
Lynn, let's talk about how does a person make a lot of money like you have? Do you do it by just guessing right, or do you bought companies and then would make them profitable? How do you do that?
Well, you know, for us, and like I said, I think this has been somewhat of a miracle journey for me. I think it's meant to be for this moment in time to show people what needs to get done to save employment in this country. We literally buy companies that other people will toss away, what they call the heap of creative destruction. They're unprofitable. They don't deserve to live. We actually take those same companies, a lot of them iconic American brands, and we rebuild them. We invest cash in them. We rationalize, which means we have to cut expenses, and sometimes we need to cut people, reduce some to save many. And then we actually go in with a combination of rationalization and innovation, cutting to what you can live on, a good lesson for all of us.
You mean the government might learn something from that?
Maybe. And I'm happy to help. I've volunteered many times. And then innovation, which is most companies die because they've lost their innovation, which means the only way to breathe new life into these companies is through innovation.
Well, give me an example, Lynn, of a company that you took, maybe something we'd be familiar with, what you did, and how did that save the jobs of the people who work there?
Well, I mean, if you look at MD Helicopters, which was Howard Hughes' old helicopter company. So we're talking about weight on my shoulders. And, you know, it had been then bought by McDonnell Douglas and then Boeing, and then hadn't produced a helicopter in 3 years and was left for dead. And frankly, I was too foolish to know that you couldn't rebuild a dead aerospace company. And so that's one where we had to come in, and the first thing we had to do was really, from scratch, restart it. Speak to pay off the debts, speak to every supplier, get them back on board, go out and speak to customers about what they were looking for, give the confidence in, begin to build the helicopters, and begin to bring the helicopters into modern times by, you know, changing blades, you know, changing the cockpit, you know, innovating on what people needed. And so here was a company that hadn't produced a helicopter in 3 years, and in 2008 we delivered 53 helicopters. We were top in customer support. It's listening to the customer, hearing what they have to say, but most of all, it's just a team of people with passion, perseverance, and vision, and willing to stand shoulder to shoulder to create that force of nature that rises from the abyss. We don't work together as a people anymore. We're always worried when we wake up about ourselves. When people stand together, I say, good people together make great things happen. It's about taking a team of people who will believe in the journey.
Well, Lynn, to be the CEO of 120,000 employees is pretty remarkable. I'd say you've come a long way from that 23-year-old single mom working to just put food on the table. But you know what? You've taken a lot of risk. This is the part of it people don't understand. They look at you and say, oh, wow, a billionaire, that'd be pretty cool. But you took extraordinary risk. Some of them worked out pretty well. You are rewarded for having taken the risk that worked. But if they hadn't worked, the question is, would the government have been obligated to bail you out? And the answer is, in the private sector, historically, no. And I just hope people can understand that, yes, what you have done is a remarkable display of the power of old-fashioned capitalism, but it works when the government gets out of the way and doesn't try to micromanage and manipulate every aspect of it. Great story, Lynn, and thank you for sharing it with us today.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here.
Lynn Tilton, thank you very much for joining us. Coming up.